If you ever feel like you've reached this point in your relationship where you're starting to wonder, like, do they even love me anymore? This is a video for you. I want to share this story of a couple I was working with that was experiencing something like that. And one simple thing they were able to implement that can really make a big difference. It helped them start to bring back that closeness that had been missing for years. I'm Janelle Elias, and I help couples who are living very high demand lives learn how to build real, lasting growth. So I was working with this married couple, and they were explaining to me how they, after years of just built up life, lifing as it does, they were both professionals. There were kids in the mix. Between the come and the go and life, they just they were so distant. They felt like roommates. There was nothing there. They said, "We don't even talk anymore. It's probably better that way anyway. Save ourselves the argument." You could feel just how the longing that had gone on for so long, it was dormant. They didn't even bother wishing for closeness anymore. They kind of wanted it if they were to admit it, but actively they were just focusing on almost surviving day to day. And there was heartbreak there, if they did talk, someone was always snapping at the other. They were always angry, or there was almost just complete indifference. And that's almost worse. I explained to them that there is this concept. It's been researched on and built upon since the 1970s. Most recently made really championed by Dr. John Gottman. If you know about his work, I highly recommend you look into him. But he's not the only one. It's this concept of some coin it like an emotional love bank, where we tend to have this reserve in us of love and patience and the desire to help people, and if that's tapped out, it makes it really hard to care. Or perhaps we do care and we want to help and we want to make things better, but it's just not in us. Like, how can I there you when I've got kids screaming and business meetings and things that I really need to get to, or we can't put food on the table. It's a very normal or competition, right? Challenge between real life and what it takes to keep a marriage thriving. And ultimately the marriage has become um the victims, no, the casualties. There we go. The marriage has become the casualties in the process. And so the concept of the emotional love bank says that when someone has enough positivity and goodwill built into their reserves, they have more in there to want to make a deposit. I'll explain a little bit better. You ever been in a work situation or perhaps a friend, and that relationship is very one-sided, and that friend or that coworker is always just take, 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 take. Every time they are around you, they're like, "Oh, can you do this for me? Oh, can you help me? Can you do me this favor? Or can you lend me money?" But every time you interact with them, they're always taking, and they're really not interested in giving back, right? The next you keep that up enough times, and they keep making these emotional, if you will, withdrawals in the relationship, just taking and taking, that the next time they come around and they're like, "Hey, can you help me out?" We're way less willing to help them. We're like, "Ugh, I'm always giving you money. I'm always helping you. I don't even know why I'm still friends with you." Like, I might need to put some distance in this friendship. Like, I don't. Ugh, right? And then you have the coworker or the friend who they are just so sweet. They're so loving and they're so giving and they're always just give, give, give. And they see you with a big bright smile and they're like, "Wow, your outfit looks so great. How are you doing today?" When that friend has the occasional rare moment to come to you and say, "Hey, I actually I'm so embarrassed to even say anything, but I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I could really use your help. I'm so confused about this thing. Could you help me explain it?" Or whatever the request might be, right? We're way more willing to help them because, yeah, of course, like, you're always giving. It's about time you finally ask for something in return. Like, we often sometimes even tell that friend, like, you give too much, you're too generous. So when they come around and they need to make a deposit on that friendship or that relationship, they've already been investing so much that there's nothing but goodwill and patience and even giving of the benefit of the doubt for them, we're way more willing to help them out, right? So it works similarly in marriages and any other relationship or interaction with other people, frankly, where the more that someone has invested in us or we have these interactions with them, from as small as a good morning, how are you doing, the tone of voice that is used, the positivity, something in the gleam of their eyes that says, wow, I'm so glad I got to wake up next to you today. Or with a friend, I really value or treasure your friendship. Things like that fill us up, fill up that metaphorical emotional bank account, right? So that occasionally, if they have a rough day, if something is up, maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding and suddenly they snapped at us or they came across wrong or there was a uh they maybe did something they didn't even realize accidentally offended us, we're way more likely to just be like, that's not like them. Let me give them the benefit of the doubt. Let me talk to my friend or my boyfriend or my husband, wife, whatever the case may be. And let me find out what happened because I know it was probably not what I'm feeling. Like, this doesn't feel very good. And it's probably a misunderstanding. Let me try to find out, right? Because there's that built in deposits, as they say in that metaphor, right? Or just that built in what I would call like goodwill, where they've already been so kind and so loving that the occasional negative thing comes around and we're willing to give it a pass or give it a second chance. It's not the end of the world. It's not the break of the relationship. It's not a deal breaker. We're going to give them a chance. That concept works inversely as well. If a loved one, family member, spouse, whatever, is constantly having negative interactions with us. They yell at us, they're getting angry, they snap, there's lack of patience. It's like, oh my God, can you even do anything right? All of those little negative interactions are little withdrawals. And any positive sweetness and compliment, and if you've heard of the love languages or any kind of like loving interaction, fills the account. So you have money or goodwill built in there when the occasional withdrawal needs to be made. So if a relationship spends the majority of the time investing into each other and filling their hearts, filling their love banks with that positive goodwill, with those interactions, with those loving little sweet nothings, little gestures, then a person feels pretty full. So that if a withdrawal needs to be made, if someone argues, snaps at us, come at us sideways, or whatever the case may be, it tends to be more of a, that's not the norm. This is not usual. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. You get a pass. Let me give you a little bit more patience and just come at you sweetly and figure out what's going on. This is not normal for us. Is there something going on at work? Is there some way that I can help? Compare that to a couple who has spent so long just running on empty. That love bank is dry. And it might not even be intentional. There's been no time, no energy, no childcare, to be investing positively into the relationship. When they've been running dry for so long, it's like trying to drive a car on an empty tank. You're running on fumes. There's nothing left to give, or very little left to give. So the next time someone comes, our loved one comes around and has that negative interaction, that's going to be that withdrawal from the bank account. It's already dry. It's a much bigger deal. This is no longer, "Oh, I wonder if something's wrong. Are you okay?" It's, "Oh, I know you did not just talk to me like that again. What have I said to you before?" Boom, 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 right? So this one simple task is, it's almost a challenge, really. What if, without them necessarily deserving it yet, without them having done anything to earn it, we just, as an experiment, try to start paying attention and becoming more aware of the times that we're having these positive versus negative interactions. Look at the tone that we use. Look at when we're nagging. Look at when we're snapping at someone. Even if what we're saying is completely correct, like 100%, I am in the right. It's not okay. I need you to do this task. Can you please change their diaper? Um, Even if what we're saying is legit, right? Can we say it in a more positive way? Can we try to switch our tone or choose perhaps a more positive thing to focus on? Sometimes I've had couples where they look at each other and the first thing they see is all of the annoying stuff. It's just been so long. They're on each other's you know, they're just constantly on each other's nerves. They're getting at each other. And then every next interaction, it's like, oh, there they go again doing that thing. It's so annoying. How do they not realize they're doing it? Right? These are usually signs that the love bank is running on empty and there's not much left to give. And any little interaction immediately goes to a negative one. They don't even have to interact. It can just be in our own thoughts. It's like, oh, there they go again. And sometimes it gets to the point where these couples don't even bother trying to talk about it anymore. It's just, they just swallow it and they just keep on going. It can be a really lonely place to be. So back to this couple that I was mentioning, they felt like roommates. The homework that I gave them, the one simple step, was to start focusing on anytime they did speak to each other. Can we make, let's say, John Gottman says, five out of like five interactions for every one, making sure that those five are positive compared to the negative one. Sometimes these numbers can be aspirational, and if all a couple does is argue these days, then it's just progress to start having one positive interaction in the middle of that. But starting to getting to the point where we're building this awareness, we're realizing when we might be nagging or when we might be saying something that's critical, or maybe it's not what we're saying, but how we're saying it. And for this one step as the experiment, try finding the positive things that you can say to the spouse instead. Try maybe temporarily swallowing some of the negative ones just for now, or if they must be stated because they're absolutely time sensitive and important, watch maybe practice trying to say it kind of a kinder, more compassionate kind of way, but making the homework to change, or the challenges, but making the challenge to change the amount of times that we're speaking to them and seeing if we can start interacting in a more positive way. Maybe if you're a flirty couple, some little butt smacks or little gentle loving touches, or if you're a more verbal couple, then the compliments and the cheering them on and the wow, you look really good today. However is your style, but trying to make an effort to make more positive interactions than negative ones, and then stop to notice the reaction. Even if you don't tell your spouse what you're doing, even if you don't drag them to this video and say, hey, watch this, I think we should try it. If it's just you, and don't get me wrong, you are enough to already see a huge impact in your relationship. In fact, the majority of the couples, this has been well studied, who experience dissatisfaction in their marriage or in their committed relationships, there's typically one that feels a little bit more willing and engaged in the process of trying to repair things, and one that's a little bit either less willing, less enthusiastic about it, or flat out refuse to. They're like, I'm pretty much done with you. I'm just in it because I don't want to lose the business, or I don't want to do that to the kids, but I'm checked out. Do what you want. I'm going to be over here. That's okay. We can still work with that. You can still see a drastic improvement in the relationship even there, as a start, not forever, but to start getting the ball rolling again, all it takes is one. If you're both doing it, awesome, even better. But if it's just one, we'll take it. We'll start there and start trying this experiment. I call it simple. I don't call it easy. Because sometimes after you've got years of built up stuff between you two, all of the things that they've said, the way they looked at you sideways, the way they stopped looking at you, it can build up. It can be really hard to overcome that inner sense of injustice or loneliness or resentment, anger, those things. Just to look at someone and try to find the positive way of approaching them, or to talk to them, or even think about it, it's tricky. And this couple that I was working with, one of them did say to me, in the one of the spouses in the relationship said, look, that's easy to say, but you haven't been married to my spouse. All right, you haven't heard some of the ways they talk to me. You haven't seen some of the things that they've done over the years on purpose. They swear it was an accident, but I know better. And I can't just pretend like everything's all happy now. And I'm just going to be like, oh, hi, darling. How are you? Like it's a valid point. It's understandable. But what I told them at that time, and I would argue with you as well, is this is a temporary kickstart to try and start over and rekindle a flame. It's not a permanent state. This is like if you trust me and trust the process, give this a try. We're gonna get to the point where it doesn't really feel fake and icky anymore. If it's that hard to come up with something positive to say with your spouse, I would say fake it till you make it just for now as a starting point. Trust me, we're gonna get to the point where it starts to be more genuine, but we gotta start somewhere. And even when we're doing exercise for the first time, we force ourselves to go to the gym or we put a squeeze into workout clothes that no longer fit anymore. And we're going through the motions of these things that don't feel natural. They don't feel comfortable. That's okay. Starting a new thing can feel uncomfortable until we find our rhythm with it and it starts becoming a habit. It starts becoming ingrained in how we act, how we think, maybe even who we are. We're like these more positive people now. But if you are in fact committed to your relationship the way that I was speaking with this couple and they wanted to make it work. They did not want to be part of the statistics. I told them, make this temporary sacrifice. Give it a try, watch the results, and let's report back and go from there. Take steps 2 and 3. Trust, you're gonna see. I mean, it's reported in all of the research over decades. You're gonna see a difference. There is a well repeated, it's almost become cliche now, example about, how can we just start talking kindly to someone when, let's say, you're in the middle of a heated argument, you're upset, they're breathing wrong, like they can't do right by us anymore. And we're in this frustrated place. How are we going to just turn around and just start being kind or trying to choose something nice to say? They haven't earned it. Um, and the example that's often given is we know we're capable of choosing how we react to things based on the fact that we can be in the middle of a screaming fight with someone, just absolutely furious. And then a phone call comes and interrupts the conversation. It's an important phone call. You got to take it. And you go from, and another thing, hold that thought. Hello. Like we can choose our tone. We choose to like calm down temporarily. I'm coming back to you. We're going to finish that fight. But first, yes. Or opening the door for the delivery guy or something, right? And say, like, oh, thank you so much for this package. Yes. You have a good day, sir. You too. Close the door. And then it's back to the screaming match. So if we can choose how we like our tone and how we react to these neutral things. Another example is often if the kid runs into the situation, we sometimes try to like just come back down and speak to our child and get them taken care of and get them out of the room again so we can finish where we were. Um, if we can do that, then we can choose to apply it here as well. And if you do find yourself so furious, so mad, so much built up resentment that you can't even get yourself to say something, not even just kind, but like neutral at our spouse in that moment, that it's just going to come across the wrong way, that might be a good time to just take a beat and cool down. It's okay to take a pause in the conversation or put yourself in like a mini timeout and say, you know what? I need to calm down. This is a technique we can talk about later, but say reassure them like I do love you and I want to get to the end of this conversation, but right now I'm so mad. I just need a minute. Let me come back in like 20 minutes and we'll reconvene. We'll finish rehashing this. Um, that's okay too. And you don't even have to say that to them. Maybe they don't even sometimes they're blissfully unaware how upset we are. So it's okay to just tell ourselves, you know what? I'm too mad right now. I need to go calm down, do something positive for myself, and I'll come back to trying to talk to them when I'm in a better place and I know I can speak to them either the way they deserve or if we feel like they don't deserve it, uh, the way we want to try speaking with them moving forward, right? I did end up recommending that exercise for this couple. They gave it a try. Within a few weeks, they were naturally wanting to spend more time together. They were, I mean, the changes that they reported back seeing were so drastic. It was almost like, that's all we needed. Thanks. Bye. Marriage fixed. That's obviously not the case. It doesn't take that one simple step just to fix things, but they saw a drastic improvement, and that's pretty consistent in a lot of the couples I work with. It's consistent in my own relationship. I've been married for almost 10 years now, and it creeps up on you. Sometimes we just don't notice that lately life has just been so stressful that some of it's leaking out in the way we're speaking to our spouse, and catching that and intentionally flipping the script to speak more positively lately. It's such an investment into that intimacy, into starting over, into feeling closer again. You're gonna see the difference. Try it, get back to me, let me know what you think. It's gonna help. In the next video, I'll mention one thing that you can do to actually start feeling more love towards them. Sometimes these relationships I work with, and the question is like, how do we fall in love again? Because we've become so disconnected. I don't even know this person anymore. And there are ways, like we scientifically know how humans fall in love and how we can use that positively to rekindle that spark in a relationship. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I'm also going live every second Tuesday of the month, bare minimum, to answer some live questions with people in real time. But I am also trying to go live a little bit more often than that. So I do encourage you to hit subscribe so you can get the notifications of when I do go live. Maybe I can answer some questions, or we can talk about your specific situation if you'd like. I am going to create a way to anonymously submit some questions so I can help address those as well without anyone feeling like they have to put themselves out there. Honestly, it's cheaper than therapy or getting a divorce, right? So what do you have to lose? So hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when that comes up, and go ahead and give this a try. Let me know what you think. I want to hear back.